Today I thought I'd tackle some amethyst. And I got some very light purple amethyst from a friend. And I already dopped up this one, but you can see in a lot of these, especially this one, I think you can tell the purple is in the termination of the original crystal. And it gets less colorful as you go down towards the original base where it grew from. So these ones I already cut to save myself some grinding, and pretty much cut off the non-colored ends of those, and I'll just use the purple sides. One of the reasons I chose this one is, if I can get it just right, you can kind of see a sort of a more purple line down the middle of that. There's actually kind of strong zonations of where I think there was growth differentials in the amount of whatever causes the purple in amethyst. If this comes through in video, the purple kind of forms a pyramid shape with a central purple pillar pointing towards the tip here. But that's besides the point. What's nice is that because I want the purple to be in the culet or the pavilion, because that will bring more color to the top of the crystal, or the top of the faceted gemstone. And it's already kind of in a, pavilion type shape, so I don't have to grind away quite as much to get the right pavilion shape. There is a bit of a veil right here. That kind of grayish line there is actually a crack that's in the interior of the crystal. So I'll have to keep my table, above that line once I'm done with it, or else that veil will be in the pavilion and will be very noticeable. So this stone will have to be a little bit smaller than I would have liked otherwise. This is the design that I settled on, the 6-ray brilliant star from the US Faceter Guild 2022, this year's novice competition stone. I figured I'd give it a shot, just see how it cuts and see if I can get close to the requirements. Like the stone size has to be 12 millimeters plus or minus 0.3. The girdle has to be 0.5 millimeters. There's some rules and whatnot to follow. And it actually works out pretty well for me because the width of the stone right now is about 16 millimeters from flat to flat on the crystal faces. Please focus. There we go. And as you can see, I've started to polish a little bit, but there are a number of facets that I'm going to have to go down quite a bit because the angle of the termination is very steep. And so I don't know if I'll have that 12 millimeter width. It'll depend on, this termination here or the one up here, because right now they're just little frosted flakes in there. So you can calculate the crown height versus the width that you need, which I know is 12 millimeters. So what I did was went through and 12 millimeters wide. The pavilion to width is 0.485, so solve that for pavilion and it's 5.82. You can do that for the crown as well. It's 2.124. And then the height is then the crown plus the girdle plus the pavilion. The crown, girdle, pavilion. And so I need 8.44 millimeters of total height. And on the amethyst here, this is 8.8 right now, but that gets me, with a little bit of leeway, just above where that veil was. The main pavilion and the girdle facets are more or less roughed in, and it's almost perfect. There's a little face here that will have to be ground out, and that's a natural crystal face there. And we are currently at 12.9, just under 13 millimeters around, so have close to a millimeter to grind off of the girdle. I moved up to a coarser grit to do that. And so this I'll have to grind in, lose about a millimeter on either side, and I might have to go down just a little bit further with those main facets. And once I put in there's another set of facets that goes across this hump here, and that'll level that out and extend the line over to there. So I think with all of that combined, that face should close up, and I'm hoping that closes up as well when I go in a little more on either side. If not, I'll have to, really push the tolerance of the 12 millimeters to the limit. You do have a plus or minus 0.3 millimeter allowance on either side of the 12 millimeter for the competition stone measurements. So 11.7 millimeters is certainly doable, I think. It's best to shoot for 12 though, so we don't start pushing the judges' limits right away if this gets sent up for competition, which unlikely.